And welcome, everybody. And thank you so much for being with us. It's always a pleasure to have you be part of our consciousness as we have these wonderful live chats with incredible human beings. And you know how it is with me. I love to attract psychics and intuitives and people that think out of the box and allow us new ways to seeing ourselves, seeing our lives, healing our bodies. And I'm sure Kimberly Meredith, our guest today, will agree with me. Often healing isn't the appearance of something broken. It can also be more self-esteem. It can also be claiming your voice and having energy to bring to the world, or stepping in as a healer and growing in that. And so anyway, welcome Kimberly Meredith. She is an intuitive. She's a psychic. She's had a near-death experience twice. You don't mess around. Let me not just do it once. Let me do it twice. But before you launch into things about you and allow things to flow, I just want to say, if anybody would like to tune in or write in, if you want to get a reading with Kimberly today, she's prepared to do so. So here you are, and welcome. And we're just so glad you're here. Another Los Angeles bright light.
Thank you for having me on your beautiful show. It's been exciting. I've been anticipating this exciting time with you, Temple Hayes. Thank you for having me here. It's always nice to meet somebody like you and your soul energy. And it's a time right now for all of us to be together and to help each other. And this is good.
It's magical. It's magical. So when you were born, did your parents just send you to mystery school, or did you have a story, or, or what is it they say? How's a nice girl like you end in a place like this and you're still nice? But was there a story to your journey just starting out? I always like to allow our listeners to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, I mean, I was, born in Linwood, California, which is Compton area in LA. And my mom was a beautiful model actress. That was her, she wanted to do with her life. She wasn't expecting to have me. And my dad they were very young, and they weren't expecting probably to have a child like me. And from birth, I had paranormal abilities. And I was very different.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I was very, very, very different. And my parents were separated. He was drafted. And my mom was left with me. And so she kind of handed me off to my grandmother, which was a good thing because she could handle my abilities being so different. And I was seeing things when I was little, like flashes going through the living room of paranormal energies. And I would always say to my grandmother, my hands were reincarnated. And she didn't understand how I would know that name, if reincarnated even.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was doing automatic, like channeled writing even when I was little. And I was rubbing my hands together, and I was healing. I'd find animals that had passed, and I would do mouth to mouth on them. And I would do these really abnormal things. And also another thing that was very peculiar about me was that I was doing a lot of telepathy. And I was doing a lot of things that my eyes were doing, which was continuous blinking.
Okay.
And this is where they were taking me to get looked at by even multiple physicians. And they were saying that I had different types of issues that were going on, which now we find out are not true.
Right. Of course.
I was communicating with spirit, ascending masters. I had an accident when I was little, even, where I had a problem with my eardrum. And now my spirit team speaks to me through my left ear, and that was where it was at.
Yeah.
So after my near-death experiences, my a specific parental figure in my life, not to make this story too long, because you can read the book.
You have all the time you need. We're not in a hurry. This is, this really feeds people's soul. Yes.
So a specific parental figure didn't like this blinking, so communicating going on. So I forced myself to stop blinking at the early age of 7, 8 years old. I was scolded and bullied at school, and bullied pretty hardcore through the ages of, I'd say, maybe 4 to like 13, 14 years old. So I remember specifically forcing myself to stop.
I had that feeling that you probably were. And were you able to turn these gifts on and off, or did they just run like a radio on in the car, regardless of whether you pulled it out or not?
Great question. I was able to stop it being, it still was happening to me, but I stopped it from looking outwardly, like the blinking was able to stop it from physically being,
Okay.
I stopped the sign languaging and I stopped the blinking. So I hid it that way, but I never stopped me communicating to God and spirit. But I stopped to make the parental figures happy, from that happening. I still went on as an adult to work in the community of health because I wanted to still help people. And I went on and did that. I never became a medium I never went on to do that, but I did go on to be a nurse assistant. And I always prayed, and I always was trying to help. And then after the near-death experience, and I lost my life, I was completely shocked and grateful that my eyes started communicating and blinking again like they did when I was a baby. And the energy of the omnipresent God came back through the blinking and the sign languaging again. And I was just, dumbfounded that they would start communicating with me again in that way.
Yeah. Oh, did you have an accident, or did you almost drown, or?
I was hit on foot by a car.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was hit. And then I had a full-blown near-death experience at the hospital. And when that happened, I encountered the Holy Spirit.
So when that happened, and what age were you?
That was just, God, 8 years ago.
Okay.
And when that happened to me, my life totally turned upside down. Wow. And I was granted the information to either go with my abilities to fully open, like they were when I came into the world, or push them away. And I chose to go with it.
Good for you. So for a while, you were in the silent protection program. That's what I call it, being in that protective program that we kind of, because of the trauma of being gifted and being little, and, that energy, even though we're aware as adults that it's different now and it's a different world, that sensation in the belly can still be there sometimes. And it sounds like that was such a, if you will, resurrection for you, of dying and then being born in a new way. Do you feel more free now than you ever have, as far as your gifts and, you know, what you're here for?
I do. I feel like that my life before the near-death experience, you know, as an adult,
Mhm.
I was always in service. You know, I always had a life of serving. I spent many years as a nurse assistant on many hardcore floors, you know, oncology. Um, Working in hospitals are not easy, and I've always been in service that way. I also worked in the entertainment world too, duplicating that, you know, working as a medical advisor on shows, helping them make the hospitals look as real as possible. So,
Right.
and I always worked in a life full of serving people and helping people. My heart was always in that. And now um, that I'm in this life, which I feel like is an amazing life, that I'm able to be a healer. I am a psychic medium, and I'm a root cause medical intuitive, where I find
Mm, wow.
people, I find out why you are sick, what's the root cause of you being sick. And I have abilities that I can lay hands on people and heal people through the Holy Spirit, and teach people how to do this activation is a big responsibility that I have. When I was in the other life, I had hits on things when I would be at the hospital, and I would hear out of the left ear and did get the message, but I always pushed it away,
Wow.
even though I would get the hits.
Hmm.
And now I can go with these hits, and I trust the hits, and I know that they're 100% fifth dimensional, they're 100% right. And it's now very freeing. I don't have anxiety. I don't feel fear. I feel that um, this is, yes, who I really am supposed to be.
Hmm. Wow. I, a lot of people never get there. So good for you. And
And
I,
that's what the
yeah,
guys,
kind of thinking that though. I was wondering, I was like, I bet she was working undercover at the hospital.
it's funny you say that.
Helping these souls move on and stuff like that. And you are in your other cloak of a assistant nurse outfit, but you were probably just running vibrations all over the place and nobody knew, right?
It's funny you say that because right before the accident happened, I worked on one of the worst throughout my whole, like, I want to write a book, a separate book from the book that I have channeled, about the years at the hospital,
Mm.
because leading up to the last year at the hospital, Spirit put me, I'm getting chills right now from heaven, from all the souls on the other side. Oh my God, all over my body, I'm getting chills. The Spirit put me on the worst floor. You know, often don't get to pick where you're going to be put when you're a nurse assistant.
Mhm.
And Spirit put me on the worst floor you could, they called it the death floor.
Oh God.
Worst floor you could work at a hospital was the worst floor. It was a trauma unit floor. And I happened to be on that worst floor. And I used to go there and say, I don't think I'm going to survive today. Because
Mm-mm.
we would have code after code after code after code.
Oh,
And I happened to work on many of the days that some of the most beautiful celebrities were crossing. And a lot of times you get your schedule and you can't change your schedule from the nursing supervisors. And I happened to be on the nights that some of the most beautiful celebrities crossed.
mm.
And these, you know, everybody's, doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or not a celebrity, but they happen to be people that I had really admired. And I didn't really want to be there on the nights that they had died. And I remember some of the nights, and then some of the times where people they had said they're going to pass, and I had heard in my ear they're going to live.
Hmm.
So it was amazing that I had experienced this before my NDE, because I knew, and now I know too, when people come to me and they'll say, my doctor's going to tell me I only have a few months to live, and I'll hear, no, you're going to live.
Oh well, yes. Yes.
Because we can't ever decide when someone's going to live or not going to live.
I wish that we could eliminate that altogether.
Yes.
I would love them to take a course that would tell them that in your lab coat, people give you power, even though we say no one has power over you. There's an inner power, there's an inner consciousness, and only you have that, spiritual connection of the divine. No one can say
Yes.
when your exit day is, but it ought to me, it ought to be illegal that, and I've been present when that has happened, that somebody thinks they have a cold that won't heal or the flu, and the doctor is meeting them for the first time. And I never will forget my friend when he said
Yeah.
to him, Mr. Matos, hi, I'm Dr. Blah blah, and here's the thing, you have 7 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought both of us were going to fall in the floor.
Yeah.
We thought he had a cold. It's like, you can't do any better than that. Now, he was a science of mind student, and
I love that.
so he lived for 7 years, but he didn't need that in his head. I mean, there's ways you can say what you have is serious. We need to get to work on it, or anything, but not do the date thing, right?
Yeah.
Why can't we stop them from doing that?
Well, because they go to school, they have a certain ethics and things like that. But now that I'm doing the work I'm doing now, which is the readings and the mediumship, and then I do the laying on hands healing.
Yes.
Back then, on the floors as a nurse assistant, I actually was doing it then, like you're saying, undercover, and I didn't even know it, because when I'd be in the room as a nurse assistant and they would be in there saying, maybe there was a tube down the throat, and they'd say to the family, they only have a few hours to live, I'd hear, no, they're going to make it. After they'd walk out, I'd look over and I'd say, I'm going to get a warm blanket and I'm going to pray the Hail Marys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd put the blanket on, and maybe she'd be out like in a coma, and I'd start praying, and
Right.
I'd put my hand, and I'd get the chills over my body, and I would start doing the Our Father, Hail Mary, or I speak in Hebrew, and she'd wake up, and the vital signs would get better, and she'd start changing. And then all of a sudden I'd walk out, and the doctor'd come over, he goes, what happened? I'd say, I don't know. And she would be fine the next day. Everything, the tube's out, everything's recovering, everything shifted. And the family was like, oh my God. And he said, they're recovering. And she went home. Like a few weeks later, she's fine. And this is the miracles. This is what happens. This is God's court.
Right.
We can't say when someone's going to live or die. I mean, God is in control of this planet. And that's what happened with me.
Mm.
They thought I would not make it. And I made it because God wanted me to make it.
Yeah.
And this is what we're saying is the miracles. And this is what's going to happen to our world. Our world is ready for a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Our world is going to have a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel that.
Yes.
Someone is writing in, Barbara Bertucci is writing in, and she said with the work she does as far as intuitiveness, she gets chills throughout her body also. And I see kind of light coming in and out. And it feels like, you remember the movie Contact?
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like you were walking into this invisible, but yet you could feel it. And I remember this is like 30 years ago, and this started happening. And I remember sharing it with somebody, and they went, oh, you probably have diabetes. And I thought, I'm probably not going to share that. This is probably the first time, that I've even shared that, because I just know that, when it's forthcoming, that something is coming and there's awareness coming. And I'm sure I've shared it with a close friend, 3 or 4 times. But for the most part, it's interesting. As much as we as humans pride ourselves of being advanced and knowledgeable and more information than we've ever had, it's still surprising, like you said, that we can have gifted children that get these dreams and these ideas. And I don't know if it scares people, if they're afraid, but they want to talk them out of, or tell them that's not okay, or, whatever. And I'm seeing that with animals also, Kimberly. A few weeks ago, there was someone on the show, and she said, the time will come that the animals will keep coming forward and showing their consciousness to the planet. They've always had it, but people haven't had the ability to see it or let it in. And I've been saying that for 20 years, that we are one day going to apologize to all these animals, that we were ignorant and we didn't realize the wisdom that they carry.
I believe that. I love animal communication,
Oh, yeah.
groups and classes. I have one coming up. I love communicating with animals.
Okay.
I feel animals are communicating with us from the afterlife,
Yes.
and also from here. And they find us to help us have less fear. They help heal us. They have a way to relieve pain and suffering from our society, and they have a lot to teach us and bring us to higher dimensions. They're in a fourth dimension realm already, and they want to help bring more insight to us to move us into the fifth dimension and higher, which we're all multidimensional beings, but animals are here to really help us become more fearless. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And we can find out some of those things about you on your website. It's already in the comment section, but it's thehealingtrilogy.com, correct?
Yes, thehealingtrilogy.com. And I'm so glad you brought up the animals, because I happen to gravitate towards some amazing animal communicators. They're far more gifted than I'm an animal healer. I do animal healing and I do animal communicating, but I gravitate towards some amazing animal communicators out there.
Yes.
And they join me in my animal communicating groups. So I'm really glad you brought that up. So, and when you come to our animal classes, you bring the picture of your animal. Wow. And it could be your picture of your animal that's alive or crossed, and you put it on a screen, and you don't tell us anything. So they're all up on a screen. It's really cute.
Oh.
And we pick the animal without you telling us anything, and we start communicating the information to you. And it's really incredible, this group.
Oh, it sounds beautiful. And that, for people to access that, because some people are listening now, but a lot of people tune in over and over. So it's thehealingtrilogy.com.
Yeah.
And they go to that website. I looked at it earlier, and they can access the class and find out more about it.
Yeah. And then we give you the information of what your animal, everything about your animal, what it's communicating and past stuff communicating, and it helps relieve maybe you're sad or you're missing or you want more information.
Yeah. And, or, sometimes we find that the new pet we have was a pet that we used to have.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that an honor when they pick you again? Like, oh my gosh, you thought I was pretty cool, so you chose me again.
I cannot believe
that from my friends that happened to them. Like a new dog came like right away and had all the habits of the other dog. And you see a lot of that too?
Yes. I can't believe you just said that. Because recently medium Mari and I did this animal communication class, and the lady put 2 pictures up, and I had no idea anything. And I said, I can't remember, the pet's name was Sweetie. And I said, oh, Sweetie has all these different things, this arthritis and this hip thing and all that. But I said, it's not coming from Sweetie. It's coming from this other animal. And I picked this other animal. And she goes, I can't believe you just picked that other animal. I said, why? She goes, that's the animal that crossed over. And she had all those elements. And
Wow.
And I said, well, that animal I see has been reincarnated into your current pet. So unfortunately, Sweetie's very young, but has the element, like the physical elements of the animal that she had that crossed. But you're completely correct. They will come back in as a familiar to be with you.
Well, I love those movies that came out, like The Dog's Journey and The Dog's Purpose, because I felt like they helped people of the masses understand in a better way, that there is this reincarnation journey. It would seem so odd, right, if we only just did one time and that was it. Because we sure don't always do so well with just the one we've got. But yeah, and I can't believe that no one can that people can actually not get that it's an infinite life.
Yes, infinite and beyond. I mean, it's a never-ending journey that our mind, body, and spirit is constantly being activated with information, and it's our choice to grab the information and take it and be of service with spirit, because spirit wants us to help, our brothers and sisters. And it's about being kind and loving. It's so important right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you had mentioned a book. Let's talk about your book. That's exciting. Is this one of many, or is this your first one?
This is my first. I've co-authored another book called Healthopedia with a bunch of other beautiful physicians and authors. But this is my main book called Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, Discovering the Soul's Path to Healing. And this book was channeled. I started channeling it at home in my wheelchair in a recorder. I just was told by spirit that I should start documenting what's going on when I got out of the hospital.
Okay.
And I just started channeling it. And then it got to be about 200 and 300 pages.
Hello. Yeah.
And it was an incredible story because I didn't know I'd ever become an author. Really. I really didn't. I never looked for an agent. I never looked to really, I just started channeling it in the recorder and on paper and little things like that. And then I started a radio show called the Medical Intuitive Miracles Show, live on air. And it was taking callers on air. And one night I was on air and somebody called in that was sick. And I knew she had breast cancer. And a publicist heard me. And she had worked for the Susan Cook, how do you say it? Chicoman, something like that. And she knew an agent. And she called him up and said, I think you should talk to this lady about maybe if she has a book. She's a pretty good psychic. So he called me out of the blue. And I was home. I have to tell you this. I was home really sick. I had a high fever. And it was right before Christmas, and he called me up, and I'll never forget it. And the minute I heard his voice, I knew him from a past life.
Oh, wow.
And he called me, and I actually almost got tears when he called, and he said, I heard about your story. I heard you had a near-death experience, and can you send me the book? And I said, well, I have half of it in a recorder and half of it written. And he says, get it to me. I've published Eckhart Tolle. I've gotten publishing for Neil Donald Walsh, and I've had some, great authors in my clients. But I feel like I need to hear your story. Yeah. And I said, I'll never forget it, because I came from a lot of abuse. And I hadn't been out of the wheelchair very long. I just started, this is in 2017.
Wow.
And I wasn't very confident. And I said, I don't think you're going to like it that much. He goes, get it to me. And so,
Isn't that what we do? Sometimes something great's coming along and we're almost like trying to talk the person out of it.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you could
yeah.
go,
And
like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Wow.
And our relationship between me and this man was so amazing, Temple Hayes, that
It brings to your own.
yeah, it was more than an agent. I adored him like a father. And so this book is more than a book. It is beyond the fifth dimension. I got it down on paper. I got it to him. He flew me to New York. I went into one of the biggest publishing companies in the world. I did a reading on one of the biggest publishing editors in the world. And by the time I got home from New York, I had a yes. And we started getting it going. And I built a relationship with this person that was an amazing fifth dimensional and beyond. The book is about my near-death experience, the first chapter, my life as a child, and then it goes into opening up your abilities, your consciousness. It goes about environmental consciousness. It talks about exercises in the fifth dimension and beyond. It talks about scientific research, about how we can awaken our own abilities, how we need to protect ourselves against psychic attacks. It's kind of like a 101 book about how to live in the next few years and survive.
And that's a book that people can really use right now. And is that on the website also?
Yes. And it comes in, thank you. Yes. And it comes in audio. So if you don't want to read, it has audio, and I got to record it. And so it's in my voice, and it's also Kindle, and it's in paperback through Hay House, ended up picking up in paperback, and it's also in hard copy.
Wow. I'm just making sure I spelled that right. I put it in the comment section again.
It looks like this.
Thing of the fifth dimension. I love the color scheme too.
Thank you. I wanted it to be in a rose color gold in honor of breast cancer awareness.
Well, it's like the angels and the guides and everybody told you. You just needed to come out of the closet, come out of that protective place and, peel those layers, right? And then now doors and avenues keep opening up for you. It takes a lot of courage, and I applaud you, for that, just stepping out there and saying, this is who I am and this is what I do now. And I'm out of the chair and here I am, watch me go. That's just incredible. I want to remind those of you that are tuning in, if you would like Kimberly to check in to someone in the other dimension, someone that's passed, she'd be happy to do that.
Yes. And also want to remind people, part of my journey too, as a medium and a psychic, is I love to help people open up their intuitive abilities. And I have a mentorship program, and I love to help people right now, especially if they're having difficulty with abundance or their company or their work. I help people go in and transition into new careers. I help people transition their career that they have now and reorganize it. So on my website, I have a mentorship program that's quite helpful for people. And I help people with readings with that. So a lot of people are transitioning right now because the world is in flux. It's a 3D world moving vastly into the fifth dimension. And I talk about that in the book too.
Yeah, and you think that's because the energy is more than where people want to go or the experience that they want to have?
Oh, happy Father's Day. I feel because we are in a political turn and we are shifting so fast right now that everybody's kind of going, oh, it's a painful time in history. And when we're doing that, it's going to be an uplift going on too. So everybody's kind of having to do a facelift actually, because, you know, things are shifting fast. So
Absolutely.
the spirit guides like to help people out.
We have someone tuning in, Janine Harper, and she's saying that it's Father's Day is coming up, and her father's name is Julian. If you get anything from that,
Yeah.
he's not on this side. He's been passed a long time ago.
Yeah, Julie. Yes, so we're doing it in the chat. So nice to meet you. Her name is Janine.
Yes.
Okay, hi Janine. So yeah, so your dad is coming in for me. Comes in pretty fast. Can you confirm that you and your dad were very close? Because I keep getting, when I asked about your dad, he came in on my left shoulder, like right away, and said that you guys had a close relationship. Is that true? Can you say yes or no to me, just to confirm it's him?
Yes, very close.
Okay, because I want to make sure he's the one that's with me. So I'm going to ask him right now a question. He's saying to confirm, to make sure you know it's him. When he was alive, did he used to work doing something in service, helping people? Can you confirm it's him for sure? Did he do work helping people in service, doing something? Was he a very kind person? Can you confirm that? Was he like a service like doing something to help?
Yeah, it takes a minute.
He's also saying he had a business.
He's saying he helped anyone.
Yeah, but he's saying he had a business job too. He liked to help people and he was in business.
Mm.
Do you want to ask him a question? I think it's definitely him. He's saying it is him. It's me.
Mm-hmm. One family had a fire and he paid.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. And he also he was in business. Yeah, he liked to help people and he was in business. Do you have one question for him? He's saying he's looking after the family from the other side. Yes, he owned his own. It's him. Yeah. He says he has his own business. Okay, it is him. He's saying he's looking, okay, he's saying he's with the family. He's not gone. He's saying, I'm with the family. He's showing me he's with the family. It is him. He's saying, I'm watching over the family. I know you can't see me. I mean, we can't talk back and forth. We're just doing through chat. But it's him, honey. And he's saying, I'm with the family. Do you want to ask him a question? I don't know what next means. Just ask more specific question.
Right. Ask a specific question.
Yeah, a specific, but it is him.
Oh, definitely. That's very clear. It's him. It takes time, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I know they talk really fast to me, so that's why I'm talking fast. He's saying a lot to me right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's not saying anything.
No.
Uh-oh. I don't know what next means.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, what's next? What's next in our future for the USA? They don't use.
He's not going to answer that. You have to ask a question to your dad.
Okay. Yeah, you have to answer a question to your dad. While we're waiting on that, we have another. Hello, my name is Marna, and my best friend Cindy passed away in December of 2020. Are there any messages coming through from her?
Yeah.
Cindy.
I'm going to only answer one question because they don't like to be pushed out away after we did the last one.
Right.
So yeah, your dad is kind of okay. So
So Dad doesn't want to leave yet.
yeah, he's okay. So we're gonna okay. So what is it, Marna?
Yes.
Okay.
More.
Hello, my okay. Okay, so we're going to go to Myrna right now. Thank you, Janine. Marna, hello, my name is Marna and my best friend Cindy passed away in December. Are there, okay, so let me see if I can bring Cindy in right now. Nice to meet you, Myrna. So let me see if Cindy wants to come in for us. Let's see what happens. Cindy. Cindy, I'm getting. Tell me and confirm this in the chat. If Cindy is coming in. Cindy had a hard passing. Is that true, Myrna? If this is Cindy. Myrna, I think it's Myrna. Yeah. Is that Myrna?
Marna. Yeah.
Myrna, yeah. Can you confirm if Cindy had a hard passing? Because she's trying to say, I had a hard passing. I don't want you to feel sad about it. Can you confirm that, Myrna?
Yeah, for some reason on the internet, it just
Yeah, no. Too bad we can't bring her up. Can you bring her up at all or no? Yeah, she had MS. Thank you. Okay, they want to come in and talk, but they want to talk fast. That's the only issue. So she's saying, okay, let's stay with Myrna because I have to stay with one person.
Right.
Okay, Myrna is saying, because she's breathing through me.
Right.
Okay, Myrna's saying.
Cindy is for Marna, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
So Cindy is saying, are you spiritual, Marna? Because she's saying something about you being spiritual.
I can tell you that's a yes. I know.
So let me just go with the flow.
Yeah.
She's saying, please stay with your spiritual practice. She's also telling me something about a soul connection or a soulmate, something going on with you and her. You and her were very close. Is that true? She says she's watching over you. Does that make sense with this reading right now?
I'm sure it does.
She's also saying she can't respond. Okay.
I know. That's the only thing.
Something about a spiritual group. Is she involved with?
Probably a few, yeah.
Yeah, that she's watching over the spiritual group. Yes, we were very close 50 years. Yeah, she's saying she's a spiritual sister. Yeah, she's showing me the infinity sign. She's also saying she's with the Holy Spirit. So she's showing me the 7, the Christ light 7. Are you? Yeah, she's saying she likes that you're involved with these spiritual groups. So, Myrna, are you a spiritual teacher or a spiritual healer? Because she's telling me something about she wants you to do that, or she likes you to do that, or wants you to do that.
Mm. Mm. That's
About
beautiful.
being in support, she likes you doing that. She likes you to move in that direction.
Well, Janine is talking about wanting encouragement from her dad about the business that.
Let's stay with Myrna, though. We have to confirm what she's saying with Cindy real quick.
Yeah, I got you.
Myrna's not coming back with what she's saying.
Yeah, it's something with the internet. It just takes longer.
Yeah. So if you guys want to do readings with me, you can reach out to me at thehealingtrilogy.com, because it's, oh, yes, and thank you. Okay. So she did say yes and thank you. Okay, great. Yeah, because they're coming through and talking. Cindy is a lot. She's going on and on right now. I don't know if that was her personality.
I bet. That's beautiful. Yes.
She's going on and on about, I'm sorry, I can't see the small writing, but uh, about the spiritual groups. I don't know how many you were in, but
I think Marna, she goes to several spiritual communities in Florida, and she delves into so many things. And I know she follows me on social media, and I'm sure many others. So
yeah. So there's something about Marna participating or actually taking more charge of being in them. This is what they're trying to say. She's trying to say.
yeah,
Okay, so thank you.
yeah.
So I see the one you were saying about, I can't see the full name.
Janine,
Yeah.
yeah, about her dad.
Yeah. Her dad was trying to come in and talk about starting a new business, and I'm struggling this month. I was looking for encouragement from Father that I am on the right path. I would say I would need a few more questions about that business that you're starting, and on the right path. So 1 to 5, I can ask that. Thank you for coming back and asking. They're saying you're right in the middle. So like 5 would mean you're really right on the right path, and 1 would mean it's awful. So it's like a 3. You're in the middle with that. So you can always reach out to me for a longer reading. It's, and I can help you even more with that. So thank you for coming back. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Janine, don't stop doing what you're doing because the world needs you. She raises puppies.
Yeah.
With the animal kingdom.
And they're saying that's really great, but they're also saying to me, there's also something else they want you to do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm getting another hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm getting another hit too. Yeah, so it's really cool. I'm so happy you came in.
Yeah, and ask the puppies to help you. They will. We brought a bunch of dogs from Brazil. When I had gone to Brazil, a bunch.
I dropped out. Now I have a full. Yeah, I keep getting the 7, not to interrupt you, Temple Head,
Okay.
at all. But right before she said that, I got Christ consciousness. I got God before she said that about her partner. And your dad loves you so much. He keeps coming in with the 8, which is he's your soulmate. He's your guardian angel from the other side. And he keeps saying the Christ light, the 7. And so I get chills about that. So there's another gift you have too. So thank you, Janine, for asking for a reading today. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much. Really keep the faith.
Do you want to do one more, or you feel good?
Yeah, because we're having a little bit of the glitch with the reading coming back and forth, but I feel like really good connection with the families coming in right now to help.
Yeah. The last one is my wife.
Okay.
She lives here, so
Where?
see if we can bring it back. She lives here where I do, in the Santa Barbara area. So let's see if I can find it.
Okay.
Saying her brother died as an accident, and it's probably a suicide. And his birthday was 2 days ago. My sister said he's trying to let me know that he did indeed love me and was sorry for being a jerk.
I can't see it in the chat.
Okay, I brought it down so you could right now.
Okay, let me see.
Um,
let me
right.
go. Oh, I can't do it. I'm not on there.
So my brother died
Okay.
as accident and a possible suicide. And his birthday was 2 days ago. And Barbara is saying that her sister told her that Leonard is probably trying to say he's sorry and that he did love her. They had a thing happen.
Okay, so let me just go over this real quick on my own. So who's Barbara?
Barbara is my wife.
Okay, who's Leonard?
One asking the question, and the brother is Leonard that died.
Okay, so okay, it's a little complicated, the question. Maybe we could rephrase the question, because I can definitely call. I'm very good at calling in the other side if they want to come in.
Okay.
So let me just get this straight. So I'm sorry that happened. I'm very sorry. So let me just call in the brother and just ask one. Can we ask just one simpler question for me?
Right.
Just make one simpler question is, brother is Leonard.
Yes.
He died of suicide.
Yes.
Okay. And you wanted to know what question?
Is he sorry for some of the things he did? He was definitely a very judgmental person.
Okay. So let me call in Leonard and see if he has anything to say to Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see.
You want to come in?
Let's take a breath. Because sometimes when they cross, they don't always want to come in right away. So we'll just see. Hi. We'll call in Leonard and see if Leonard wants to come in.
She's really good.
Do you want to personally ask me a question while you're here about Leonard?
I do some spirit writing, and I didn't know if someone died by suicide, if they cannot communicate like normal spirits.
Sometimes they don't want to come in if they have crossed over, and sometimes they do want to come in. And I am communicating with him. He did come in.
Okay. He just turned 70, and I was trying to ask to see if he was apologizing. And then I went, well, why do I do that? Let me just forgive him. So I just want to forgive him.
I am getting a couple numbers from him. All he's saying to me is, he's saying, I'm with Christ. I made it over there, even though what happened, he still made it over there. He's showing me the sign of the Christ light. He's showing me, he's saying, you're an angel. He's saying you're an angel. That's what he's saying. He's also saying that he had an imbalance. So I don't know if you knew that or not.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, I had an imbalance. It was hard for me to live here on this planet. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, very good.
He said, I struggled.
Yeah, and he wasn't accepting of us. And I think
But he said he couldn't accept him.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you knew that or not. He's saying, Kimberly, I couldn't accept me.
Wow.
And it was hard for me to live here.
Yeah.
And he's saying, he just keeps saying over and over again, I'm free.
No, nice. I
And
wrote freedom. He has freedom when I was spirit writing. So yeah, thanks.
yeah, I just keep saying that. That's all he's saying. That's all I'm getting. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. But
Awesome.
he's showing me the 4. He's going like this. He's saying, show her that she's the 4, which that's the angel number.
Oh, nice. Where do we find out about your numbers?
At her website.
So that was it. He's leaving now. But that was it. He was showing me those numbers.
Thank you.
Wrap up. But I love your gift, and it's wonderful, Kimberly, how you are such open heart and everything. And I just want to remind everybody, either those of you that are tuning in now or later, that you can go to thehealingtrilogy.com. You can get a reading with Kimberly, a real focus reading. And I urge you to do that. I mean, those are some of my greatest moments when I've talked to my parents or my grandparents, and I get these insights, and you can immediately feel, just like what we just saw, comfort, compassion.
Yes.
You know, it means the world with our sacred story, so.
Yeah, I feel that especially when people take their life, like that's something I have dealt with a lot. My dad took his life when I was little. And I feel that we really need to be there for people right now. And this is a time that, like, people like you, Temple Hayes, I'm so happy I met you today. And I'm so happy that that we all can be here for each other right now. And it's an important time.
Yes. And for me too. And stay in touch.
I will. Thank you so much for having me today.
I really look forward to seeing you at the Whole Human Collective. I think it will be wonderful. It's going to be 2 full days, Saturday and Sunday, and we need your gifts there,
Thank you.
for sure. Yeah, and
Thank
I'll
you.
introduce you to a bunch of people there also.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
And I'm
absolutely.
happy thank you. I'm happy to meet Barbara, and I'm also happy I met everybody in the chat, and have a blessing, everybody, day.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for tuning in and being with us, and thank you for engaging. It takes a lot of courage to be, asking things and being involved in this way, and we're very grateful. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
Share the show with other people, for sure.